Now that 205 Live is on Tuesday nights live at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and people have suggested, because of my dedication to the show, they suggested that I do a little bit of review for it. So here's my first attempt in reviewing the first episode of 205 Live for this series that I call 205 Live Matters.
Who is Noah Foster? Well, he's just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. And he is the defender of the art of cruiserweight wrestling, giving you the latest action in cruiserweight wrestling. A man who thinks that the cruiserweights should never, ever be an afterthought. And others have joined his crusade. He defends those who take depth-defying leaps and produce all-out action, all in the name of entertainment, all in the name of helping growing this wrestling community together. We are the spark for change, whether it was from the days of WCW until now. This is courage. This is determination. And this is passion. NoDQ.com presents 205 Live Matters.
I'm Noah Foster, and I approve this message.
To think, I started this 1 year ago, and here I am, 52 weeks later. And yep, it still matters to me. Damn it. And that's a good damn it. But I digress. Good evening, everybody. And I always mean that in the most sincere way possible, but I also mean it literally. Now, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome to the 1 year anniversary of 205 Live Matters. The brand continues, so the mantra stays the same, and so does the content, as we will share with you. This week, we, of course, will be discussing NXT influence with 205 Live, as we had 3 first-time ever matches, bringing in the newcomers from the NXT brand to 205 Live. Again, it's about OGs versus the new breed. And we also will discuss, of course, events leading to this episode, including the NXT 3-way Cruiserweight qualifying match for the Fatal 4-way coming up at Worlds Collide. Finally, the Cruiserweight title getting some mad props, respecting the stronger showcase. Now, if only they make a new belt, but I digress. And much more. But, of course, for all that, allow me to, of course, introduce you to pretty much, we do this series together. We are the Simple Holiday. He came in a little down the road after I started this series. He is, of course, a family man, a good-hearted man, a very wise man, and a fellow Christian like me. It's, of course, my friend here, one and only, the Holiday, Mr. Christopher Mace. Chris, how are you this fine Sunday evening?
Oh, been a long week, but like I said, I'm just going to keep going, pushing forward every day. And like I said, I'm glad we're getting to do this tonight, get my mind off some other stuff. So I'm just ready to talk about some wrestling, have some good conversations with one of my close friends. So I'm happy to do this tonight.
All right, I'm happy to relieve you from whatever hard times are angsting you from today's world. Of that being said, wrestling is always a positive outlet, I like to think. So why don't we just go ahead and get right into it? Let's first start off with, of course, what 205 Live reflected upon. But let's go a little more talk in depth, because once again, the Cruiserweights stole the show at NXT Full Sail. Crowd was red hot. We, of course, kick off with a recap from Wednesday's match, so we're going to discuss that first. It was a 3-way qualifying match, as we learned at Worlds Collide. Angel Garza, the newly crowned NXT Cruiserweight Champion, will defend his title in a fatal 4-way match against one representative from NXT and 2 representatives from NXT UK. Yet to be determined. Yes, I left #spoiler3. Don't spoil it for me. Anyway, this match featured, of course, the former champion, Lio Rush, the man with all the confidence in the world and momentum behind him, and my pick, Isaiah Swerve Scott. Weird music and font though on his Titantron, but eh. And, of course, now OG, once again, Prince Pretty, thank God no furry selfie stick, Tyler Breeze. And these two had a very competitive back and forth matches, everything I would expect from a triple threat match and from the cruiserweights. There was a lot of back and forth in the very beginning as we were wondering who's going to take advantage, who's going to go first. Tyler Breeze with the Sun shot. He gains control over both Swerve and Leo Rush. But then Swerve comes in and unleashes a fury of kicks. Good grief, the man's offense. Leo Rush, it was basically like a fill-out process from the beginning as each person gained control and showed what they were capable of as far as speed, agility, and overall athleticism. Swerve, he gets control, but I like how the crowd was kind of pushing back to Tyler Breeze versus O'Cara. Tyler Breeze didn't say once, not the face, or don't touch me! But you heard the crowd throughout this say, not the face, not the face. So what happens? He, of course, gets kicked in the side of the face. You happy, audience? Anyway, following that, what the hell was going on here? Leo Rush with a moonsault off the apron while Swerve goes over the top, and they literally meet each other face to face without colliding. But I am just so damn excited to see those two go one-on-one. I cannot wait for that match. Anyway, moving forward in this match, we come back from a commercial break, and we find these guys set up what looks like on the apron a Tower of Doom spot, which was just that, as one person suffered the blunt of that superplex, and I also think got face planted DDT. Nobody got the best of that. Also, Angel Garza was on commentary this whole time. Sorry, no speak Espanol. I don't know Spanish that well. Sorry, Cindy. Anyway, following all this, though, Breezy once again gains control. He unleashes a few strikes, even pulls out the beauty shot, nearly. And we get a couple near falls, and then Leo Rush, he gains control and launches like a bullet. Suicide dive takes him out. Then Swerve, he's also going to follow up with a Frostberry flop, taking out Leo Rush. All three men are down again. Then it comes down to Swerve and Leo Rush, and we go back in the ring. Standing Spanish fly spot out of nowhere. I don't know how the hell you pulled that off. Breeze going back to antics he used to pull off back on the failed four-way takeover. that's OG NXT for you all. And he basically comes in for a near fall after a kick. And then Swerve nearly gets pinned. Not quite. I would have been shocked if that happened. But following this beautiful supermodel kick, no pun intended, only to eat a roundhouse kick, final hour combination, it seemed, that Leo Rush finally came back into play. Did not get the pin on the final hour as, again, Breeze tried to take advantage. Failed to. So now it's down to Breeze and Leo Rush. Breeze catches him, of course. Leo Rush catches him with the come-up. And then Swerve takes advantage, catching Breeze with house call. But he doesn't go for the pin here. As it was talked about, Swerve needs to bring something different. What does he do? He goes into his trademark bag of tricks. I remember seeing this move. Boy, it's been a while. First time under the WWE banner, he pulls out the JML driver and he pins Tyler Breeze. 1, 2, 3. And my pig wins. And he qualifies now. And we have 2 of the 4 participants for the Fatal 4-Way NXT Cruiserweight Championship match at Worlds Collide. And to think, we're not even on 205 Live. This is what happened earlier this week.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, Chris, your thoughts and any other takeaways you have on this match, and did Swerve impress you the most, or what's else on your mind?
Swerve is the one that impressed me the most. Swerve is the one I keep saying is going to be a future world champion later down the road. He's the one I've been impressed with the most so far. I honestly thought Tyler Breeze was going to sneak off with this win. I really did. I thought somehow by hook by crook he was going to sneak off with this win, but I was really happy that Isaiah Swerve Scott got the win. I'm happy he pulled off his finish he used to do from other promotions. So, I mean, it was really good to see that. So I was happy to see that. I'm glad he's going to start using that more as a finish, hopefully, in the future. This is going to be an interesting Fatal 4-Way. Whoever the next 2 participants are going to be in NXT UK brand, it's going to be a very interesting Fatal 4-Way match because it's not an elimination match. It's just a straight-up Fatal 4-Way match. One fall for the winner, and Angel Garza does not have to be pinned to lose this title.
And Maranello, he put that over throughout this match as well. But Angel Garza, of course, being brash, arrogant, confident. And by the way, nice side plates. Anyway, he basically says, oh, yeah, they're all good, and he's good. I like him. But he's not Angel Garza. And he's like, well, yeah, but also I can take advantage, too. I don't have to be involved when the fall is about to happen. I just have to steal it. So, per se, he might pull Eddie Guerrero for all we know. I see a lot of traits of Latino heat for this guy. I'm just saying. But an amazing 3-way from the Cruiserweights, and 3 of the newest Cruiserweights, I might add, that are really coming up through this reincarnation of 205 Live, which lead us straight into this Friday's episode, where they basically talk about on commentary from Greensboro, North Carolina. This is a 3-match showcase show with 3 first-time ever matches. I was already excited at that. But then I also realized something. That's not Tom Phillips' voice. Apparently, Tom Phillips and Ed English were on assignment or something. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a very unique first-time two-person commentary booth for 205 Live. And I don't know how I feel about it so far, but I will say this. One of them was very good. It was, of course, John Quazzo, who has been doing some backstage work, per se, for NXT. I've seen him do, like, interviews post-match, per se, out in the parking lot, for example. I think he also was involved on 205 Live commentary at least one other time.
Yeah,
I can't
he was.
remember. Thank you. But then, for the first time ever, Mansoor was involved in commentary. And I have to admit, he did quite a job. Very impressive. But I digress. Anyway, this two-person tandem basically carried the show, and we first start off with Prince Pity. Still no selfie stick with the fur. I think he's finally gone with that. But I feel like he's now brash, arrogant, heel-type Tyler Breeze now that his partner's injured, which might play to his advantage, per se, because he's making waves in the Cruiserweight division. And he, of course, is facing OG Ari Daivari, who's out here to do one thing, and that is carry out the Brian Kendrick's mantra of do something, whatever that means. With that being said, I thought this was a pretty good opener. Chris, your takeaways from this match and basically Tyler Breeze's 205 Live run so far.
Tyler Breeze has been impressive. Like I said, he's been impressive. He's challenged for the NXT title before. He's challenged for the North American Championship before. He had been in NXT for 5+ years where he got on the main roster. They didn't know what to do with him. Now he's back in the NXT 205 Live brand, and he's making waves again. He's doing what he loves to do. And this match was told a great story. Daivari was trying to hit his finish twice. Daivari, one of the great heels and one of the best 3 heels in the whole company right now. Just the actions he did. You know, he's doing Tyler Breeze's mannerisms at the beginning of the match. He's telling a story here. The story they were telling was he was trying to go for that his hammerlock DDT. Not once, but twice. He was not able to hit his move, and that ultimately cost him the match. Tyler Breeze picking up the win, and that's the incredible thing there. So now he's 2-0. So now I'm still saying they're going to build this storyline, I think, coming up in the WrestleMania season with the original OGs from 205 Live brand going up against the new school that they have going on right now.
As long as it's a better showcase than the WrestleMania 23 ECW spot. But I digress. And yeah, absolutely. The story here was basically Ari Daivari proving why this is my brand and I'm going to do something. While Tyler Breeze now, he's redefining himself because once again, he's a singles competitor after who knows how long. It's amazing in his career he has yet to own any championship gold. Even as a tag. Who knows? This might be his opportunity finally. And like Mansoor was putting over on a commentary, he looks at this new 205 Live roster, and all these people seem so motivated, aggressive, and hungry to really prove to themselves why they belong on this brand, why they can lead, and why they became Cruiserweight champion. Again, Mansoor, very good on the play-by-play spots since he's a guy from the locker room. John Quazzo was finding his place, but I gotta admit, he was mostly quiet during the show, mostly just letting Mansoor lead him. So, credit where credit's due. I thought this two-team commentary tandem was okay. But anyway, as far as this match goes, it was controlled by Tyler Breeze in the beginning, who showed a very unique, aggressive style at one point, throwing Ari Daivari in barricade once but twice, pulling in Austin Aries, going up on the top rope, and, you know, just being like, it's all good, I got this. And then basically, after a hair pull, again, this was a match of basically 2 heels, per se, versus the new heel, I guess. Trio of Woe spot after a hair pull, Ari Daivari, he gained control, started gathering a crowd. He's like, what? Again, Ari Daivari still thinks the best heel on 205 Live because he always garners heat reaction from the crowd, even if it's a little. This crowd was not bad, though, either. Anyway, Breeze regained control after throwing him over the top, and then, like you said, they were going back and forth trying to pull out their best shots. There was a unique spot, though, Tyler Breeze pulled out where he grabbed him by his side and pulled off a modified backbreaker on his ribs. Ouch. Anyway, slingshot into near ref bump, and I might add, it was Jessica Carr was the ref. To her career, she's only had 1 bump under WWE. I thought we were about to see another one. Man. Anyway, wicked Uranagi, the elevation and impact he gets on that. Ari Daivari into the near fall of the match, but then supermile kick into another near fall of the match. And then once again, he tries to go for his hammerlock lariat, only to be countered into an unprettier. Counters that into Enziguri Okada rope, not quite. And then we thought we were going to get another hammerlock lariat, like you said, second time. Nope, counters it, bang, beauty shot, and he gets the win. Tyler Breeze continues his momentum on 205 Live and picks up a little bit of momentum after falling in defeat and on the pin on Wednesday. I thought it was a very good opener. And again, it really picked up when Ardvar is like, you don't belong here. No one cares about you. No one wants you here. Go away.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel only incited Tyler Breeze, and I think ultimately led to the win. Pretty good match, I might say, for an opener. Anyway, moving on from there, we talk about the gentleman, Jack Gallagher. For those of you who follow him on Twitter, one of the more fun Twitter accounts from the 205 Live roster, he has a list of unique demands and basically feels that these need to be fulfilled before he comes back. And apparently, he's also sporting a new look. Bald, I think. So, I gotta ask you, because you're all about story and psychology here, more than me, because I'm learning from you from that aspect. What are your thoughts on Gentleman Jack Gallagher's demands and basically his character change?
Good. About time you change his character. You got to do something different. You can't come back like everything's okay after you snapped and you headbutted the 205 Live GM, Drake Maverick. You can't come back and be like, oh, everything's fine. La, 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 I'm here. Go. Beautiful rainbows and butterflies. Everything's good. I'm going to keep losing. You got to do something different with him. If he comes back... See, this is the kind of person I think Lorcan would have been doing if he is still there right now, or even possibly Mike Kanellis if he was still there in 205 Live right at this moment. Right. However, this will work perfectly with him. With his wrestling ability and his style, this works perfectly. If he can pull off something not like Stone Cold Steve Austin, not like that, but just like that attitude and that personality, like I have no craps to give, I know I'm the better wrestler, and he comes in there and he starts getting some big wins, and these new demands, like he wants new theme music. I know that. Like I said, he's got this new look. Looks like he's got this brand new attitude. I'm ready for him to come back. I want to see what he's going to do. Will we get a different style of wrestling? Will he change up his style just a little bit? I want to see what he's going to do and his personality, how it's all going to play out. Now, we've been having this back and forth. He's kind of a heel. He's kind of a face. He's in between. We don't know what he's doing one week to the next. No, it's no four flip-flops up. Let him be a badass heel because he knows he's a damn good wrestler, and let him just dominate.
Yeah, I mean, again, he probably had match of the year last year on 205 Live, at least in our opinions, with Chad Gable. Look, Shorty G, by the way, stupidest fucking Burger King Kid Jr. gimmick ever.
Yeah.
I digress. Anyway, I like his commands, like, change my interest in music to this. I want to be on late night shows, even though they don't really know who I am, but I want to take 30 minutes of their time. Give me Eminem's WrestleMania in England, which I'm pretty sure is a demand of many people. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but hey, never say never. I just want it back in Detroit. But anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see when he comes back and against who. And I really wonder if it will be one of the newcomers, because I think about the 205 Live roster now. Who could Jack Gallagher actually start a feud with? Swerve? He hasn't lost to him, I think, yet. Joaquin Wilde probably the very first one I think of because he's the newest member of 205 Live with only, I think, 2 matches now under his belt. So I'm very curious to see where this leads to.
I think he shows up at Worlds Collide after the end of the 4-way match for the Cruiserweight Championship, and he appears then and attacks whoever the winner is, whether it's still Angel Garza or whoever becomes champion. He attacks them, and he makes his claim, stakes his claim for that title, and starts building up some wins to stake his claim for it. That would be how I would do it.
That's not a bad idea at all, considering, again, this is at the Toyota Center. This isn't like WrestleMania Access, per se. This is going to be like a takeover-level show. Have you looked at this card? I am so damn excited. Not as excited for the Royal Rumble. I digress. Talk about that later. Anyway, match number 2. This was a little fun. Oh, why, though? Why, Mansoor, did you have to be the Singh fan? Okay, bully. Leo Rush versus Sunil Singh. What can I say about this match? Leo Rush, he wants a rematch for the title. He was not in the mood to play these stupid damn games and antics. And boy, were they plentiful. From the camera and basically showing us the base of it first, but then being distracted by the other Singh on the outside. And then there was an elbow drop. That was probably the most offensive move that Sunil actually pulled in this match. Because this was more, I think, just an idea of Leo Rush probably going heel, in my opinion. Anyway, they try to pull, what the fuck were you thinking? You are not the fucking Bella twin.
Thank you. I'm glad you stole the words out of my mouth on this one.
God, that ref, I officially declare you the smartest referee in WWE. Bravo, sir, bravo. What the fuck were you two thinking? You look nothing alike. Anyway, failed, he got ejected, but before he could leave, Leo Rush was like, fuck this, I'm taking him out. Come up, final hour, 1, 2, 3, Leo Rush wins. Squash. Period. Was this entertaining?
Yes.
2
Actually,
3.
It kind of was in making that parody of the Twin Magic. I was like, are you serious? I had to crack up and laugh at that for a second. And then the dumb part was he even still had his sunglasses on. I'm like, you
Yes!
idiot. At least you're going to at least try to suspension of disbelief. At least try to take your sunglasses off. Try to pretend for 1 second. Like, go back in the ring and cover your face up. Try to do something slick. At least the Bell Twins, yeah, they didn't look alike until when you finally realized that they didn't really look that much alike. But however, they pulled it off beautifully when they first started doing that Twin Magic. You could have done something similar and just covered your face for a second, maybe got a roll up, then all of a sudden the referee says, "Oh man, you're not him." You could have done something to make it a little more creative. That's what I say. But I did think it was interesting how they did that little homage to the Bella Twins on that. I will say it gave me a chuckle.
Yeah, okay. I'll admit, I chuckled once, and I'm pretty sure the Bella Twins will react to that on Twitter and be like, nice try, leave it to the professionals. There,
Yeah.
Caitlin, you happy I endorsed your Bella Twins? Even though I still don't know the name of Brie Bella's theme. But I digress. Anyway, no, that was wrong. I remember that in Brian Zane, when I faced Brian Zane.
Yeah, you're right. I've been saying
It
that
was
wrong.
beautiful Wi-Fi thing. All I heard was bit.
I
I don't know. Going on.
I just
Now
know
I'm pulling a Jeff Meacham. Now I'm pulling a Jeff Meacham. Anyway.
I just know it's Aaron Riff's favorite song to sing.
Oh, I thought it was I'ma go hard. I thought that was his favorite. Anyway. We are losing our minds. Thanks sings. Bolly. All right. Okay, anyway, getting back on topic. They talk about, of course, the Fatal 4-Way NXT Cruiserweight Championship match. Jesus, that's a mouthful. Happening at Worlds Collide. We got our representative for NXT. We got our champion. The other two will be determined by the opposite brand, NXT UK.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, say it in the assistant to the GM, Sid Scala. Incredible duo, by the way. They basically talk about how we are going to have 2 qualifying matches to determine those 2 remaining competitors. And those 2 matches will be the Irish Ace, Jordan Devlin, versus Ligero, and Kiwi Buzzsaw Travis Banks versus the Brian Kendrick? No, correct me. Wait, is this his NXT UK debut?
Yes.
That's what I thought. How the hell did he get this match? I would have picked Joseph Connors. He says I am worthy. Oh, wait. Is he over 205? I don't remember. I digress. I was like, be Brian Kendrick. Okay. That'll be something. I don't know how I got in there.
But see, what kind of makes sense, because we remain spoiler-free about NXT UK, and everybody knows that. But it would kind of make sense because if the Brian Kendrick pulls off the win, that would be original for 205 Live representing the Fatal 4-Way. You have Angel Garza in the NXT and 205 Live, but he's the champion. You have Swerve, who was actually in NXT first, so he went to 205 Live, and then you could have the winner of Ligero and Devlin, which I hope is Devlin, be part of the NXT UK representative. It makes sense.
It does to a degree now that I think about it. But again, here's the thing here, though. It's like literally 205 Live is NXT. They're all under the NXT umbrella. Mm-hmm. That's why you don't see the 205 logo for Worlds Collide, because 205 Live, its roster is kind of part NXT, part NXT UK, because all the time 205 Live have competed among both. And sometimes not even on 205 Live, they're just dedicated now to one brand. Hence, Nolan Dar. But I digress. Anyway, that leads us into our main event, and how fitting that Raul Mendoza, who had classes against Leo Rush, he has classes against, I think it's safe to say, soon-to-be Leo Rush's next rival, Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive main event, despite the fact it was probably, I think, maybe 10 minutes. And the crowd is getting behind Swerve. He is getting over. There does seem to be more crowd reaction into the newer cruiserweights, per se, now, 205 Live, because they see them now in NXT. Every week. So, I thought it was a pretty good match. What was your thoughts on this match?
I'm going to do one thing.
There you go.
It was an awesome match. I love the storytelling here. Raul Mendoza has come a long way. He's getting better every time I see him in the ring. I'm more impressed with him every time. Isaiah Scott, what do I got to say? He's going to be a future world champion. Mark my words. If you hear it here 3 years later and he's a world champion, I'm going to say I told you so, because I've been telling y'all since day one that man's got a lot of talent. Easily, like I said, this was an awesome main event, and it's probably one of my favorite matches so far this year on 205 Live.
Well, considering we're only like 3 weeks in, I think now that's a little soon. And kind of think about it, almost it's like the cruiserweight matches on NXT have to count too. And I gotta admit, the triple threat, it's still right now buzzing to me, and I rewatched that today. Anyway, yeah, those games of sportsmanship as both men, they demonstrated speed and agility and just wild galore moves around the ring, trying to control each other, trying to ground each other. If neither man would stay down. But then there was a wicked shot that woke the crowd up from Mario Mendoza. Bam! Anyway, he does finally get swerved down into a wrestle. It slows down a bit, but then you slowly hear the crowd build up.
Mm-hmm.
That's time actually happened on 205 Live during the wrestle, and they were chanting Swerve. Eventually, Swerve, he finally gets up. They're both in the apron spot. He catches him with a kick, and then leaping European uppercut to the back of the head. Ouch. And then later on, he does a pop-up face-first flatliner from a leaping roll. It's like, you don't know what he's going to do. What does he do? He rolls backwards, and then he flatlines you. Again, Swerve, the ingenuity there. And then he goes for his JML driver, but that gets countered into a wicked kick in the face. And then I finally get the name of that move, that freaking, thank you, Mansoor. Who knew? Mansoor was the one guy that knew about it at NXT. That move that Raul Mendoza does, where he springs around his opponent and just drives them. Santa Maria. Not enough, but a near fall, nonetheless. And then springboard counter into a kick. He literally drops the legs out from underneath Swerve. Ouch. And then Raul with a super Rana as he goes from one corner to the other and just drops him. And then a moonsault into another near fall. And you can see he's apoplectic. I should be winning at this point. Again, Raul Mendoza, this is the strongest he's ever been showcased. Anyway, following that, he's walking the ropes like a tightrope. What the hell? Into a missile dropkick and then corkscrew plunja over the top rope into a Phoenix Splash, I think, attempt. And he crashes and burns, which allows for wicked knee strike and Swerve to get the win with, of course, a house call. 1, 2, 3. A very nice, subtle, simple match. Strong closer for the show. And right now, I think Swerve right now, besides Garza being your champ, Swerve's the strongest cruiserweight being showcased. He's getting all the wins, all the momentum, and the crowd is seeing what he brings. Now, I wish I understood his music and the weird, dues logo they do for him, but whatever. I hope that's not a shirt. But I thought it was a very good closer to this, and I think Raul Mendoza had a strong show. And of course, neither man didn't really, shake hands per se, or didn't show that anyway. But we'll see what's next for Raul Mendoza. And again, Arya Daivari says he's not done with Raul Mendoza, so I wonder if Arya Daivari for Raul Mendoza is next to come in the cards. Because once again, they have not told us anything about next week's 205 Live, because probably all the focus is on Worlds Collide. But I digress. I thought a pretty good show, though. And as far as the two commentary people here, in John Quatso and Mansoor, I would not mind seeing Mansoor being part of Tom Phillips and in English. He did a very good job. What's your final takeaways from this week's episode of 205 Live? Commentary, match, cruiserweight competitor-wise, atmosphere, anything?
Been impressed with Tyler Breeze being in 205. I've been impressed definitely with everybody knows Isaiah Scott, Raul Mendoza. Mansoor, about to say, sorry folks, I like to call him Mansoor sometimes. It just rolls off the tongue. Bear with me. He doesn't have a Mansoor or nothing. We're good. But Mansoor actually did a really good job of commentary. I was very impressed with how he did in commentary. I would not mind him being on future episodes doing commentary. That was a big takeaway, I could say. He actually really impressed me with his commentary. He knew what he was talking about, the moves, the wrestlers, and he had the knowledge of knowing everything, and that was what really impressed me for being the first time doing it. So I think it's the first time he's ever done any kind of commentary.
I believe you're right, because I'm thinking about Madison Square Garden. That wasn't Mansoor, that was Dio Matic. You're absolutely right. This was his first time. Kind of figure it, he was more of a play-by-play guy than John Quatso. When John Quatso was trying to bring in someone, he was just trying to ask a question, Mansoor. Then they got back and asked, near fall in the ring. And also, Mansoor, he even thought about the history, because during the Arya Daivari and Tyler Breeze match, he called back to the very first time he debuted for WWE back at Country Redacted.
Yep.
When he face-to-face Arya Daivari and basically landed on his butt. So it would not surprise me to see Mansoor, who also has been an active competitor for 205 Live, hence the 205 Live special from Full Sail against Lee Brian Kendrick, compete against Arya Davari. So whether he competes or commentates, I think him being on 205 Live is a strength overall for him and the brand. Very well done. But with that being said, that concludes this week's episode of 205 Live. So let's go ahead and just chat a little bit with some simple stances as we head now into the go-home for Worlds Collide. So let's think about this. We got NXT, but they're not going to have another qualifying match. I can see Swerve coming out, maybe calling out Angel Garza per se. We have no idea. Thursday, though, we got the 2 matches. So let's go ahead and briefly talk about them. So we have the Irish-ish Jordan Devlin, someone we've advocated for a long time that should be a leader in this brand. But one of the flaws of this brand is they have too large a mid-card picture and no mid-card title. But I don't care. And he's facing a guy that's had a lot of mixed fortunes, but always brings a show to the ring, Ligero. And then we have the other match of the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks, who has also had a run of injuries, attacks before matches. He had a chance at the NXT UK Championship and lost. And basically he's been left out on the sidelines ever since. And he and Ligero are both coming off, most recently I can remember, a triple threat where Joseph Connors was the victor. I forget who he pinned, though. And he's facing the man with a plan who says, I'm a professional wrestler. Everyone's a wrestler. I want you all to do something. So I guess he's bringing this philosophy to NXT UK for reasons. And he's allowed to. So with that being said, Chris, what are your thoughts on these 2 matches? Who are the 2 you want to see win? But more importantly, what do you see happening to the 2 that lose?
See here, Ligero and Devlin. Y'all know I love Devlin, so of course I want Devlin to win. The tricky part with that is, though, I wouldn't be surprised if Ligero pulled up the upset, only because of the fact that if Devlin wins, I'm expecting him to win the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and I have just a strong feeling right now, if my opinions may change, I have a strong feeling they're not going to take that title off Angel Garza right away. So would I want Devlin in that match just to take another loss? That's where I'm having a torn with. But you know what, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go Devlin wins. I think Ligero's just going to be floundering around. Ligero's got to do something different with his character, or just end up coming over to the NXT 205 Live brand, being over here in the States, and I think you could get more credible opponents and being more in that cruiserweight division that way as well. Then you got the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks. Anybody ever saw NXT Party episode 27 knows what I think about Travis Banks. My opinion has not changed since. He's just, thank God he's not Tony Storm. Anyway, so Travis Banks versus the Brian Kendrick. Now, the Brian Kendrick, folks, he has had experience working in the UK. You've seen even pictures of him. One of those World Collides they did, it was Tyler Bate and the Brian Kendrick. And they showed pictures of the Tyler Bate meeting the Brian Kendrick at a younger age. So there is history there. He has wrestled in the UK before. He has experience working over there. And I just think Brian Kendrick needs this win. So they need that leadership veteran storyteller in that fatal 4-way match with all the younger up-and-coming guys. That's what I think. He needs to win so he can be in that match, because I believe he's going to be the one that leads that match and how it all plays out.
All right. Very strong thought. So here's my thinking. You know I watch British wrestling, but you also know I'm an advocate for the cruiserweights. Jordan Devlin has always been one of those to impress me. But I have seen his work at over-the-top wrestling, and he has had feuds with Walter. I still say, and I'm still going for it, before the end of 2020, we're finally going to get Jordan Devlin versus Walter for the NXT UK title. So, as much as I want to be involved in this match, because again, he doesn't have to be involved in the decision, if Ligero loses here, what the heck else is this guy going to do? Because they don't even have Mexican luchadors anymore on the 205 brands. The Lucha House Party went vamos. So, as much as I don't want to say it, especially because he lost the TakeOver, right now I feel like Ligero's going to win. And as far as Jordan Devlin goes, he's going to continue to prove why he's the Irish ace by any means necessary. I can see him attacking Ligero post-match and inserting himself maybe in that way, but honestly, I just see Ligero somehow pulling this off. As far as the Brian Kendrick and Travis Banks goes, I got nothing against Travis Banks, per se, or Tony Storm, like you. And Brian Kendrick, yes, he has been in the ring with these guys before, and there has been a lot of experience, and he has experience in British wrestling. Duh. But with that being said, it makes sense for him to be in this match because, again, he will be the one to bring the most experience, knowledge, and absolute fellowship in this match. He is a professional wrestler of the ages. So, yeah, I do see Brian Kendrick going into this match. So think about it. You got a heel, you got a face, you got a veteran, and then you have a luchador that could challenge Nino Garza, per se, because Ligero and Nino Garza, they share a similar style. So there could be a clash of styles there, too. So I'm looking at this unique brand, basically, for everybody. And I feel like at Worlds Collide, people are going to know any of these four men because this is going to be a NXT harder fan base at the Worlds Collide event. Hence why there's less people at versus WWE pay-per-views, but whatever. But anyway, yeah. And as far as Travis Banks goes, I don't know. Maybe he and Joseph Connors can form a team because Joseph Connors says I'm worthy, and he's been burying that into everybody. So maybe Travis Banks can be like, am I worthy? Teach me how to be worthy. I'm not a shiny new toy, but I am tired of losing. But that's the flaw with NXT UK. There's so many people in just floating, both men and women, that don't seem to have a direction right now because there's nothing to pursue, it seems, for them, and they're not in a storyline. Now, truth be told, I know we're just coming off a takeover, so maybe I'm just speaking too soon, especially with the fact we have Killer Kelly versus Jackson Gabbert, which I'm looking forward to that match because Killer Kelly is one of those I want pushed, but I digress. But yeah, I feel like right now, begrudgingly, the first match, I gotta go with Ligero, but it would not surprise me when my thoughts change before predictions. And then Brian Kendrick, I feel like that's the obvious choice. Because, again, he's the man with a plan. All right. So, with that being said, we talked about what we think might go into Worlds Collide and what the four-way might be. As far as what we think actually is going to be the decision that happens, we'll save that, of course, for next week. Because I'm sure we'll do like a simple take, or I'll at least share your thoughts on a simple take prior to Worlds Collide. That, of course, will be literally this Saturday. And I can't wait. But with that being said, I got to talk about one more thing, since I am talking about luchadors. Kalisto, he apparently has signed an extension with WWE. Yep. So, simple question. Should Kalisto come back to 205 Live? Yes or no?
Yes.
What was that? Yeah, I mean...
Well, good.
I'm just saying, he's a former cruiserweight champion. He would bring a lot to the game, and I think he versus Angel Garza would have a very competitive match. I do have no idea what Lucha House Party is doing right now as a unit because they're not even on Monday Night Raw. They're not on SmackDown. I don't even remember what fucking brand they're on anymore because the last time I saw them on... Whatever. Last time I saw them on the other rosters, they were being squashed by freaking Lars Sullivan. And then I think I did see one of them beat Drew Gulak. That still pisses me off, and he should come back too, but I digress. And I feel like Kalisto would add something to 205 Live brand. You need that, sort of name value. And I think that's why Tyler Breeze, per se, is getting more reaction time, because they recognize Tyler Breeze from all his work, like you said, TakeOver. Even SmackDown, when they did nothing with him but pair him with Summer Rae. I'm busy! Anyway, what was I saying? Sorry, folks, distraction, family, what are you gonna do? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, and I feel like the fact that we've lost so many OG cruiserweights, you kind of need some of them back to level it out, because, again, there are still some cruiserweights that are MIA because we don't know for reasons. Mike Kanellis, Tony Nese, according to what I've read, they might be a tag team down in NXT, and Lord knows NXT needs more tag, truly. And then I think about Only Lorcan, and we haven't heard high nor tail of him since. Is he leaving? Yeah. Biff back? Is he just letting his contract run out? There's a lot of indifference right now at 205 Live. I still don't understand how Drake Maverick's the leader of this brand because he doesn't show up at all, except in a tweet with his name. Yeah. So again, I just think Kalisto should come back. With that being said, do you have any further thoughts on Kalisto?
Yeah, he needs to come back. I think, yes, folks, I know he botches. We all know that. We all seem to highlight, but every wrestler botches at points. Kalisto has gotten better in the last couple years. I think he would be the best addition for that brand. If you're not going to move Ligero, you need to have another luchador-style wrestler. Because if you think about it, he had last year some incredible matches with Humberto. Their styles mesh so well together. It was an incredible match because of how their styles are just similar. and alike in how they were trained. So therefore, he can have some incredible matches. I think he can pull off some great matches with Angel Garza, Wilbur Mododa, with a few of the other guys that are there. I'd love to see a Kalisto versus Isaiah Swerve Scott match, or a Kalisto versus Leo Rush match. I'd be interested in seeing him wrestle with anybody, especially with all these new people into a 205 Live. I'd love to see a different approach to how he has to wrestle these guys. Maybe he'll change his style up a little bit. I'd be happy if Kalisto came back.
Honestly, I'd be happy with one thing. If 2020 gives me one thing, give me a Cruiserweight Classic 2 with the Cruiserweights you started at the beginning and that you have now and becoming Cruiserweights. Because right now I think you have more than enough to host at least a 16-man single-elimination tournament for maybe a newly designed Cruiserweight Championship. I would love to see that as a summer special again, because in my opinion, Cruiserweight Classic still stands out as one of the best standout tournaments WWE Network ever offered me as an original series. And I'm not just saying that because we had the commentary also of Daniel Bryan and Mauro Ranallo, which is probably my favorite two-person duo ever in the modern era. But I digress. With that being said, what's on your mind tonight as far as Cruiserweights and Cruiserweight Wrestling goes? What do you want to talk about on Civil Stances?
I brought this up last year, and we said no at the time, so I'm going to bring it up again, because now with 205 Live being branded with NXT, you got plenty of women on the NXT brand, more than we need right now, and plenty of women on the NXT UK brand, right?
Yes.
When should we decide to bring an NXT Women's Cruiserweight Championship into this? The women need something else to fight for, too, besides the NXT Women's title and NXT UK title. They have plenty of women now on both brands that could compete for that Women's Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, considering that, like I said, several of the women right now have no direction. Some people are still confused on some of them, a.k.a. people on Isla Dawn. I still like her. And then I think about Xia Brookside. They had one point Charlotte Morgan. I don't think she's signed for the brand anymore. I was a fan of Candy Floss. There, I said it. And then I think about the U.S. brand, and you have the likes of, what's her name, that did that stint with Rey Mysterio for a while. Catalina's like 19 years old. I can see Selena Vega being part of that person. I feel like right now that'd be a great idea to put towards, but I'm going to counter your point with this, because I look now at what we're doing with NXT and who we have on the brand, and we have this new tag team. Is this the time we should finally have Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships?
Since we have enough people now, yes, we could do that as well. The both options, I think, work great, because you can either give the women something else to do besides fighting. Because look at it, like I said, just the NXT main brand, for example, they have the NXT title and they have the North American Championship. We've been complaining about the NXT UK brand with the European Championship for almost a year now. Bring the freaking title to them by now. The women, I feel like, need something else too. But however, you also need something else for all this new stock of cruiserweight talent you have. Plus, they've only tried to do cruiserweight tag titles one time, and that was in WCW, the dying days of WCW. There was only two sets of champions. It was Kid Romeo and Primetime Ela Skipper, and then the last champions were Rey Mysterio Jr. and Billy Kidman. Yeah, so, and everybody. And here's a side note on that, too. Remember in that tournament, AJ Styles, a very young AJ Styles, was part of that Cruiserweight Tag Team tournament.
I still can't believe AJ Styles wasn't voted Superstar of the Decade in No DQ. That's bullshit. But I digress.
Yeah. So, like I said, both ways, both ideas would be great. But now my counterpoint to you is, which one would you think realistically would happen first? Cruiserweight Tag Titles or Cruiserweight Women's Title?
With the fact they're focusing so much on the women's right now, as far as main title goes, I got to go with the tag team, because right now I feel like with teams like Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster, with this new impromptu team of Tony Nese and Mike Bennett, with the fact that you have Leo Rush and Swerve, who might have a bit of respect for each other, I feel like right now there's more build-in dynamics to build a tag team division for the Cruiserweight brand. I have to go with that first, in my opinion. But again, I do feel like you said, there are more women than ever on the NXT brand that could be promising stars and big names. But right now, I feel like they're just going to focus on the women's title, because to this day, the only other women's titles that have come out is the women's tag team titles, and even though they're on the Kabuki Warriors, they pretty much are irrelevant.
I know because they did try. They did try a women's cruiserweight title once, and good brother Chris actually pointed this out and shouted to him on that one because I actually forgot about it with all the history with WCW. But they did add a women's cruiserweight title. Unfortunately, it only lasted less than a year, just like the WCW women's title did. So they didn't really do too much with it. So if they do a title like that, I believe they had to do more with it. But like your point, you have a great idea with that. You have plenty of tag teams. If Lorcan does come back, then you can re-team him up with Danny Burch again. There's another tag team. If you bring Tozawa back then you could re-team him with the Brian Kendrick. That's another tag team. You have options with that. That would give you a good 5-6 tag teams that you could work. Or you got to think about it too. Pete Dunne technically is about the right weight for the Cruiserweight Championship, technically. And you got Matt Riddle. So, you got to have suspension of disbelief, but that could be possible, too.
They could have, a unique tag title set just across the NXT brands for this type, like a never overweight type thing, per se, because, again, Matt Riddle is way over 205, but I would love to see him and Pete Dunne as tag team champions. And I'm calling it right now. I sense the Broserweights are going to win, but I'll talk more about that later with Worlds Collide. But I do have one more thought, because I did figure about one more tag team, but I also thought about one more person in particular. Unless you have something else in your mind. That was a good stance.
No, I was going to let you say, but I do agree with you. If everybody who's seen my predictions on my channel, I predicted on this Dusty Classic way before it started. And like I said, I went perfect so far in the first round, but my picks are Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle to win the Dusty Classic. So let's see how I do in round 2. But so far, I've been perfect 4-4.
Well,
you got Alex Shelley and Kushida, too, that could challenge for Cruiserweight Tag. There you go. I just thought it just dinged in my head. It's like
time splitters.
Yeah. So you got actually that would be about 7 or 8. Yep. Okay. You beat me on that one. I'll give you that one. I would go with the Cruiserweight Tag titles first.
Yeah, because I was about to say your point. I was about to say my final stance was simply this: 1, there goes a quarter of my bracket. Damn it! But I am glad the grizzled young veterans are getting the showcase they deserve, because they are quickly becoming one of my favorite tag teams, as that gives us one of my favorite superstars to hear speak. Anyway, with that being said, the grizzled young veterans beat the Time Splitters in what many people call an upset, including me, because it destroyed one part of my bracket. So I'm just going to ask you this. We already talked about the tag team division. We talked about how 205 Live could use Cruiserweight tag team titles because they got more than enough talent. But as we know, they might not approach that. I'm just going to ask you straight. Would you like to see Alex Shelley stick out as a standalone on 205 Live?
He's been a former X Division champion, if I remember correctly.
You are right.
I think he's been 2-time X Division champion. I know his former partner from Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, I believe had 6 X Division championships or the most. It's either him or AJ Styles. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That guy.
But I don't know where he's been. I wish he'd come back. He would be a great addition to 205 Live brand too. Alex Shelley, I want to see what he does with Kushida. I'm more intrigued with that, with the Time Splitters first. And then maybe if something happens, then we have Alex Shelley. But, they can both compete as singles. So, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing them in singles action. Alex Shelley's a very talented wrestler. Like the gentleman Jerry Slaughter said, if you saw one of his posts on Facebook, talk about, you'll like Alex Shelley. He wrestled all your favorites. And he showed different pictures from everybody he's wrestled. He's wrestled all around the world.
He keeps it simple. But and another thing, Kushida's only had one match, and it wasn't even a singles match, on the 205 Live brand. Alex Shelley has had 0. So I would like to see him at least get some sort of simple singles showcase match, per se, or even involve in a tag. Hey, maybe have the Time Splitters face, I don't know, Tony Nese and Mike Bennett, if that is actually a tag team, and do it under 205 Live and see what that does with the crowd, because that's 4 names people will recognize to a degree. 2, if nothing else, because we all know Mike Kanellis and the brutality he's done to his body on that brand. And Tony Nese, former Cruiserweight champion. So, there you go. So, with that being said, we don't know the direction of the go-home episode of 205 Live. We don't know necessarily who has won the NXT UK spots for the qualifiers. But I think we'll use that as our follow-up as we head into Worlds Collide. So, I think that's it for this week. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for tuning in to another simple episode of 205 Live Matters. And again, 1 year, and it still keeps going. Thank you so much for all who has tuned in for the ride and continue joining us. With that being said, Chris, it's always a pleasure. And like I said, what can I say? It's been 1 year. I'm tired, folks. I got UT algorithms and nonsense and stuff like that tomorrow. I was about to go to bed, too, but I digress. Anyway, Chris, with that being said, thank you as always, sir. Anything you want to plug, and where can people find you?
You can follow me on my YouTube channel, The Holiday Christopher Mace. I am very humble and honored. Now, this is interesting here because somehow between the last 3 days, it's been a chaotic week for me, folks. Anybody who knows what's going on, thank you for all love and support. But it's been a chaotic week because I went from 150-something to like 321 to 4-something and back down to 3. I don't know. I think YouTube numbers are messed up right now. So right now I'm going to say thank you for the 321 people that subscribed to my channel. Don't know how that happened, but very humbled and honored by that. That's just craziness, but appreciate all the love and support everybody showed. And you can follow me on Facebook at Christopher Mace, Twitter at Christopher Mace, Instagram Christopher Mace. Support everybody at the NX team, and like I said, support this man right here. He's family to me. This has been fun doing 205 Live with him, pretty much being his co-host since April. I pretty much may have only missed 1 or 2 shows, but you know what? This is always fun talking about cruiserweight wrestling.
As far as I'm concerned, this original series that was started by me was only improved by you and the 205 Live crew, and I thank you all. Cindy, good brother Chris, Con Andrew, Owen Finch, James the Archangel Human, of course, the man that inspired me to start it all. Of course, the Wizard Stefano Osborne and Jerry Slaughter. Forever indebted to all of you. Thank you so much. And more that I can't think of right now. But if people do want to know more about me beyond just this, know this, because it's still the same, and this goes before I even started 205 Live. I'm just a simple man. And if you haven't figured out by now, I am fickle about Worlds Collide, but I'm also a lifelong fan of waffles. I'm kidding. Well, I do like waffles. Wrestling, not just sports entertainment, but wrestling in all of its forms. So if you want to tell me about anything wrestling, the 5 brands of WWE or NWA, led by this guy, Ring of Honor, NJPW, AEW, Impact, Stardom, more I could name off the top of my head for wrestling, though, and of course Independent Wrestling. It's boring pro wrestling, folks, that's where it all starts. Look me up on Twitter, keep 300 followers. I can't believe I've come to know over 2,000 people in the so-called wrestling community. That's awesome. God bless you all. Also, follow my silver YouTube channel here, youtube.com/no-foster210. New content every week. Everything in nice, neat, organized playlist for you. It's all wrestling. Reviews, discussions, predictions, takeaways, etc. And, of course, the Heart Rate, my series, #205LiveMatters, that will continue into the stratosphere as long as the purple and yellow brand, I guess you could say now, exists. Also, I'm on Instagram, #SupermanLive if you want. Hello. Nice food pics. My mom makes great food, God bless her. And just, a Superman's thoughts, moments, discussions, posts in wrestling, look me up on Twitter, @nfoster1916. And thank you again to those that have given me over 5,500 views on YouTube. It's been a blast, and the 100-plus subscribers I have, I only hope to do more with you. And if you haven't figured out by now, of course, at the heart of this, support NoDQ. The reason I got into YouTube, forever indebted to the NoDQ family. So go buy a shirt, buy a mug, tapestry, Aaron Wrist, got a nice new tapestry, I've seen it. Very nice. Just support my friends. Do it. NoDQ.com/merch. Take it to the store. Follow them on our social media platforms. Your opinions matter. There's a comment says everything. Polls, calls, memes, gifts, reviews, recuts, polls. They even did live reviews now. Sexy female pics. You name it, it's there. Primarily wrestling, WWE, with a little bit of AEW and independent wrestling. And stay tuned because this week's going to be a stacked week as we have 3 wrestling events. And I will be participating and cooperating with 3 teams on this. We, of course, first have a Team NDQ led by you for this wing, NWA Hot Times. And then come Saturday, led by Aftermatch Wrestling. Go follow them as well. We have Worlds Collide. And then, of course, comes Sunday, the Team NoDQ Predictions League and the NoDQ Galaxy Predictions League with current reigning champion Colin Andrew. We'll be officially starting this Sunday with 3, 2, 1, and the Royal Rumble. Oh boy. So get ready for all that, folks, and there will be videos and content discussions and graphs and all sorts of stuff coming out for that as well, and much more as we close out January and head into a loaded February. And as always, I like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, both big and small, and let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, 100% pure, in its own form and way, wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, I am Botchamania. I am flustered. I am also tired, but I am just the simple man here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit that bell to know next video is going to go live. Hi, Israel. Good to see you again. And hit the subscribe button as well. I'll keep growing the channel to my best. Again, a lot of video content coming in cooperation with other channels. And, of course, 205 Live Matters will continue. There might be some simple takes as well, or simple extras, depending on further announcements that might be known beyond predictions. You just have to stay tuned. But with that being said, for the simple man, I'm just the simple man. Noah Foster and my friend here, the Holiday Chris Mays. Take care, enjoy live. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Enjoy wrestling. There's something out there for everybody. And please continue to support me and my friends and just help grow this wrestling community in a positive way for the better. Go away from Twitter controversy. Jesus. Need enough of that controversy in the world of politics, but I digress. And until next time, I just hope you all take care, be safe, and have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.
And remember, and I will always stick by this, I don't know who I want to win Imperium or the Spirit Era. Anyway, again, it's NXT, so it makes sense. But also, 205 Live, even if it is NXT, it will always matter to me.
Indeed.
And Funaki will always be SmackDown's number one. I gotta go look at some old Funaki clips at some point. Nah. Bye, everybody. And thank you again for 1 year and continuing. Take care.